Scott, feels like a long time ago when you last played a National League game, but it was a good way to go into the break with that win in a penalty shootout against a pretty strong Sydney Uni team.
Yeah, it was quite encouraging for all the players. The players played extremely well, and we still got we still got a little bit left that we can improve on for sure. We've been pretty tight with a lot of teams in the top four at the moment. We've been pretty close a few times, and the things just haven't been our way, and it's been pretty hard to bounce back from that, but they've been pretty resilient, the kids.
Winning is good any time, whoever you play against, but to do it against a really good team, does that make it that little bit extra special to beat a team that is expected to be one of the teams that contends for the title?
Oh, look, I know I've said on a few occasions that any win in National League is a good win, and if you can compete with the top 6 teams, then anything can happen at the end of the day and at the pointy end of the competition. So a win's a win, but when you beat the better sides, it's certainly more satisfying, and certainly increases the self-belief of the players to concentrate on their next game.
Is it extra pleasing for you to see the fact that Glenda Morgan, Pippa Pedley, Claire Whitaker, these type of girls are really having a huge impact on the way you're playing too? Yeah, look, they're really talented young players coming through. They've all got very good work ethics. I mean, Ella Fricaro also is part of that group, and they're all going into year 12 and trying to make all that work, and a lot of extra pressure on them, and with that. No, they've really improved, and I put that down, not just down to the coaching, but it's certainly got a lot to do with the senior players and the actual culture that we're building here at the moment. They're certainly thriving off that, for sure. How much has it helped that you've brought in three imports that are having a really good impact, and I'm sure at training they're learning a lot off them as well, but also to get Taylor to come in, those 4 players have had a big impact, and I'm sure extra helping, they're probably extra support to those young players too.
Yeah, they are, and they've, their input into the actual dynamics of the group has been, along with Catherine and Catherine Earl and Dana's experience, has been really good. And the hardest part of making a team perform is not just getting everyone to like each other, but to make the chemistry work, and that's not an easy thing to make happen. And everyone is trying to work really hard, and like any team, we've had our little niggles and ups and downs amongst each other, and emotional ups and downs, which you get with losses and wins, and injuries and things like that. But no, their input's been really good. Our two American imports have actually been going out to schools and speaking at school what are they called, assemblies and things like that about their journey, and really interesting for these kids to hear how they progress through the system in the US.
How far do you think you've come over 12 months? Do you feel like the group is progressing how you hoped it would be?
Well, we lost a lot of players from when I first got here, and then we lost a couple more, and so there's still a little bit of a vacuum there, but between the age group of between 17 and 22, it's trying to hold on to players moving through the pathway is a difficult one at best, and I suppose in that respect it's given the young ones that opportunity to step up and have a crack at it. So having said that, we don't want them thinking when they get to the age of 20, with some of them possibly having 3 years of National League or down to the belt, to go, yeah, I might move on now and do something else. We want to try and keep them involved with the sport all the way through, and that's a difficult thing to do in today's day and age.
This week period since your last game, it's challenging to keep the group together. How do you keep the momentum going? How do you keep them fresh, and how do you get them ready for next week too?
I've just got to keep going through our motions and making it as much fun as possible to turn up to training. And
that's a big part of it. I mean, every club's going through it. I mean, some club, I think Fremantle, for example, doesn't play next week. They play the week after. So this has been a month. So it's hard. We've got to try and work together as clubs and have training games and things like that. But you can't always get that time together. And some clubs have given their players a week off. Some aren't training at the moment, and some will come back. And so it's going to be interesting to see how you bounce back. The players who are currently in the high performance programs with the institutes, well, they've been pretty much training through. So we've got a few of those in there, and our girls have been training, just keeping a bit of touch in the water. And we'll be like a lot of teams, a little bit clunky when we play.
What are you expecting once you get to Brisbane from the Breakers and the Barracudas? Those 4 games across the 4 days.
Well, Breakers and Barracudas are both very, very good sides. I mean, Barracudas have won, I think, 4 or 5 National League championships with the women, so there's a very, very strong culture there. Albeit they've lost a couple of their older players who have moved on from years gone by, and they'll be very, very hard to beat. We'll have to be at our best to beat them. And the Breakers, well, they've got, I think, at least three current Australian stingers in their side, and Bronwyn Knox is now back, who's playing as captain coach, and they're all over in New Zealand at the moment playing in the World League thing, and so they're not going to be easy either, and they've got some very strong kids in national junior teams too, so it's going to be a really, really difficult, but if we bring our A game, we can beat anyone. We've proven that.
Very good. Good luck.
Thanks.